Okay, so what I was trying to say is that I would like, because I'm still, of course, experimenting with sound. So what I would like is to have recordings of your voice stating maybe phrases which are important for you and from life in general, you know, and also from art and also from what we have been saying, maybe phrases which are important, phrases that are important for you, for life in general, for what you want to strive or what you want to achieve, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Great. Yeah, I have been hearing and seeing your map. I like that as well. The map, I think that's really interesting because you are like kind of like joining the world, the places together.
Well, and like when you ask to, that I think of things that are important to me and that I say them, and that's sort of like an intent, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing in a way with this map is it fuses everything into this intention. It becomes our intent because the focal point is New York City. And I had a friend send me this map, and and I can print on that map. So that's kind of the point of it, is to print on it.
But what amazes me is that New York City embraces many cultures. So I think that's very important to note, that as New York, it embraces all these and that's why it's an interesting place, it's multicultural at the end of the day, which is of, something that as an artist, it really affects me, it really inspires me.
Yeah, and I mean this idea of that there's so many cultures, that come together, and nationalities, and people of different religions. It would be nice if more of the world would strive
to achieve that,
towards that, and not be so afraid of something they don't know, because that's really in the end what it is. It's
and at the end of the day, as we're seeing with COVID, at the end of the day, everyone is having it. New Yorkers, even if you're American, even if you're, European, even if you're from Asia, everyone is having the same kind of illness. So at the end of the day, we're all the same.
Right. I mean, in that way, it's also refreshing. I mean, as horrible as the virus was, there was and is still, is the refreshing part was how we all are affected, and it's humbling, because I think that we do kind of think of ourselves, I mean, as mankind, as being able to rule over everything, and it's kind of nice to be put in our place again, because I don't think we should ever forget that. Anyway, and what did you think of so I sent you those clips of me doing the rubbings so I did a rubbing of the radiator. What else did I do? When I put paint on the map.
Yeah, I saw that.
When I was mixing it, and the way I placed that on and I recorded that. And what was your response to?
It's like amazing when you literally see the thing ready, or you just see your hand doing the work. And when you focus on the sound itself, it completely shifts your artistic vision of the thing. You know what I mean? If you concentrate on the sound, it becomes literally sound. If you concentrate on the color that you are doing and on the work that you are doing, it transmits itself into visual art then. You know what I mean? So it depends the mindset of how you look at it. And from it, you really can create different sounds, because then I can use that and, you know, color it musically, I mean.
And okay, so two things that I don't want to forget to ask, or more comment. I wanted to comment on when I was rubbing this radiator and find how many different variations of what I could do with the radiator. And it reminded me of washing boards. You know, when women, like if you think in primitive cultures, you know what a washing board is? You know, when women would go, for instance, they would go in a group down to like the flowing water somewhere, and they would take the clothes and they had to wash the clothes. And if you had like a piece of metal, like a flat piece of metal, many times the metal would be hinged by wood to really stabilize it, and it would be rigid, or what do you say, like have these, but to this washing board would help wash the clothes, but the same surface you find on a radiator. And I think that, I mean, there's music, I think, made with washing boards too. I think we could probably go online and look at sounds that come from washing boards. Anyway, yeah, so that was just a response to doing that. Okay, so the second thing, I love this piano piece segment that you just did. You know how when you have, like, if you have a bell and the bell is just, let's say the bell dings every, I don't know, every 5 seconds, right? Which is actually quite a while of a wait, I think, right? So could you imagine like inserting, like if you had this piano piece as being like the bell in a way, and then inserting these different sounds like that I make with the stitches, or that I make, doing a rubbing.
I am trying to do in this work, that I have this piano piece, not a string quartet, this piano piece, and in it there will be these sounds created by you, created by me, sounds of voice, etc., that will be part and parcel of the piece. That is what I am aiming for to achieve.
Okay, so so another thought that I had was, so I know I mentioned the whole thing about the evictions, right? About how horrible these evictions are in the United States. And of course, not to mention New York, because New York real estate's so high. But then I also thought, I showed you this thing that I mean, I haven't done anything more with this thing. So just the paper. I like staining, and you know, I stain with the espresso, but then I thought, so the food that you buy, it, to me, if you, it's such a drastic difference to actually buy food that's really fresh and hasn't been messed up, as opposed to when you buy it in the grocery store. So often it just doesn't even have any taste anymore. But anyway, I was just thinking, like, there's a place that in New York where I'd always buy these heirloom tomatoes, and I'd always know that, I mean, they're expensive. They would be $8, like a pound. At the farmer's market, I think they were less, but I would, you know, I'd rather not eat any tomatoes and just get a really good tomato. So then I thought it'd be kind of interesting to, like, if I cut a tomato and actually put the tomato on here.
All right. Okay.
Because it would stain it.
Oh yeah, sure.
It would stain it a certain way. I often will, like, with my work, I sort of stick with the kind of a color, and I've been working with the red. The red's first from the carbon paper, and now I'm using red thread. So I was just thinking of, you know, not just the fact of not wanting summer to go by without having a really terrific tomato. But what it represents too is what it represents is the ability to actually have proper food.
Sure.
Instead of it always getting messed up with these genetically.
I'm not killing that. So I have to send you a tomato from home.
So I was hoping you might have a really great tomato there, like in in your kitchen or something.
Yeah.
But how often do you have a really good tasting tomato?
We have. I mean, I eat salads nearly every day. I don't really eat meat much, so I'm very into vegetables and things. So it's good for me that they are fresh. Otherwise, they will kill me because I eat so much vegetables,
Yeah. So, well, my hope is to find a tomato by the next time I see you, or maybe by next week. So, yeah. So hopefully, at least the second time when we meet, I'll have an imprint of a tomato on you. I would like that. And then also I'll record the sound of cutting the tomato.
Yeah, that one. And if you can send me just a couple or 3 phrases, 4 phrases, even if it's something about health.
Okay.